My beloved child, before you even opened your eyes this morning, I was there, tracing the lines of your soul with a love that knows no boundaries. I watched as you shifted beneath the covers, the weight of the world already pressing against your chest before the first light of dawn had even touched your window. I felt the rhythm of your heart quicken as your mind raced toward the bills that remain unpaid, the silence in your home that feels too heavy to bear, and the uncertainty of a future that seems to flicker like a candle in a storm. You think you are walking through this life alone, a solitary traveler navigating a landscape of shadows, but I need you to lean in close and listen to the truth of my heart. You have never, for a single heartbeat, been outside of my gaze. Today, as you prepared for your journey, I was the quiet stillness in the air. I saw you stand before the mirror, trying to mask the exhaustion in your eyes, trying to find the strength to face another day of the same routine. You stepped out of your door, locked the latch, and began your commute, lost in the labyrinth of your anxieties. You were worrying about the balance in your bank account, wondering if the miracles I promised would ever truly find their way to your doorstep. But while your eyes were fixed on your worries, my hands were active in the unseen. Do you remember that moment this morning when you were delayed? Perhaps it was a red light that stayed a second too long, a misplaced set of keys that forced you to turn back, or a sudden urge to slow your pace as you walked toward the station. You felt frustrated, didn't you? You felt as though the world was conspiring against you to make you late. But my child, that delay was my embrace. There was a shadow waiting on the road ahead, a convergence of circumstances that would have brought you harm, a hidden danger you could not see, a moment of chaos that I gently diverted. I placed my hand upon the wheels of time to ensure that you would pass by only when the path was clear. I am your shield, even when you do not ask for one. I am your fortress, even when you feel most vulnerable. I see how hard you work to keep it all together, how you swallow your tears so the world won't see your struggle. I know the loneliness that gnaws at you when the sun goes down, that feeling that no one truly understands the depth of your sacrifice. But I understand. I have counted every tear, and I have stored them in a bottle of remembrance. Your financial worries are not a surprise to me. I own the cattle on 1,000 hills, and the gold and silver of the earth are mine to command. Do not let your heart be troubled by the numbers on a screen, for I am the God of the overflow. I am preparing a table for you in the presence of your fears. The breakthrough you have been praying for is not just a possibility, it is already in motion. Like a seed beneath the soil, the miracle is growing in the dark, gathering the strength it needs to burst forth into the light. You have felt like a stranger in your own life lately, disconnected and drifting, but I am anchoring you now. I am the steady ground beneath your feet. When you feel the wind of anxiety rising, remember that I am the one who speaks peace to the waves. You are precious beyond measure, a masterpiece I am still painting. I did not bring you this far to leave you, nor did I preserve your life today just to watch you struggle tomorrow. Every no you have received was my not yet, or my I have something better. Every closed door was my protection from a room you weren't meant to enter. Trust me with the timing. Trust me with the details. Even now, I am sending helpers into your path, people who will carry the light you need to see the next step. You don't have to see the whole staircase to take the first stride. Just walk with me. Feel the warmth of my presence surrounding you like a cloak of golden light. I am the silence in your solitude and the song in your joy. You are never, ever alone. I am moving the mountains you thought were permanent. I am healing the wounds you thought were fatal. Today, I stepped between you and the darkness, and I will do it again tomorrow and every day after that until you are safely home. Rest in this knowledge. Breathe in my peace. The danger has passed, the protection remains, and the miracle is entering your home at this very moment. As you step across the threshold and set your keys upon the wooden console, the metallic clink echoing in the hallway, the world's frantic vibration begins to settle. I am here, waiting in the stillness of your entryway. You do not fully realize how close the shadow came today, or how my hand moved in the invisible realms to keep your story continuing. Remember that moment at the intersection of 4th and Main, when the light flickered to green, but you felt a sudden, inexplicable urge to adjust your rearview mirror. That 3-second delay was my grace manifest. The silver sedan that tore through the red light, a blur of reckless steel, would have met you exactly in the driver's side door had you moved when the world told you to go. You felt a chill, a brief shiver that you dismissed as a draft from the air conditioner, but it was the wind of a passing calamity that I diverted. I am the shield you didn't know you needed. I am the guardian of your ordinary moments. Even now, as you hang your coat, the one with the fraying hem you've been meaning to fix, I am stitching back together the frayed edges of your confidence. You have been walking through your days like a ghost in your own narrative, feeling the heavy press of the to-do lists and the suffocating silence of expectations you cannot meet. I saw you in the break room, staring at the steam rising from your coffee, wondering if this cycle would ever break. I was in the steam, a reminder that even the most fleeting things are held by me. The helpers, I promised, are already moving. Think of the coworker who offered you that unexpected compliment today, the one about your persistence. That was my voice using their lips. Think of the stranger who held the elevator door just as you were about to give up on making the meeting. That was my timing. I am orchestrating a symphony of small kindnesses to drown out the cacophony of your self-criticism. Your home is not just a building of wood and stone. Tonight, it is a tabernacle. As you walk into the kitchen, notice the way the evening light hits the table where you've sat through tears and late-night calculations. I have been there for every one of them. The miracle I spoke of is not a distant event. It is the settling of my peace into the very fabric of your furniture. It is the softening of your heart toward those who have hurt you, a healing that began the moment you decided to forgive, even if the words haven't left your mouth yet. I am addressing the hidden danger of the silent stressors, the way you carry the world on your back as if I am not already holding the universe in my palm. Let it go. The project that feels like an impossible mountain is being leveled by my favor. The relationship that feels like a parched desert is being visited by my rain. I see the specific ache in your lower back from the long hours, and the way your eyes burn from the blue light of screens. I am the restorer of your physical frame as much as your spiritual one. Rest in the knowledge that you are not a machine. You are a garden, and gardens need seasons of dormancy to prepare for the bloom. The danger you faced on the road was just a physical shadow, but I am also protecting you from the spiritual danger of becoming hard, of becoming cynical, of losing the wonder I placed in you as a child. Look at the photo on the mantel, the one of you from years ago, laughing without reservation. I want to bring you back to that joy, but with the depth of wisdom you've gained through the fire. I am moving the mountains of debt, of doubt, and of dynastic patterns that have plagued your family for generations. Today was a turning point. By shielding you from the physical accident, I was also signaling a shielding from the wrecks of the soul. You are entering a period of divine delay, where I am holding back the storms so you can catch your breath. Do not mistake the quiet for absence. In the silence, the most profound work is done. As you prepare your meal, see the nourishment as a gift from my hand. As you wash the dishes, feel the water as a cleansing of the day's anxieties. I am in the mundane, turning water into wine, turning survival into an abundant life. You are cherished. You are watched over. The walls of this home are lined with my promises. The miracle is breathing with you now, a quiet pulse of hope that will be your strength when you wake. Think of the letters sitting on the hall table, the ones you are afraid to open because they represent the unknown. I am already in the unknown, waiting to greet you. I am the peace that surpasses understanding when the numbers don't add up, yet the provision somehow arrives. Remember the way the sunset looked through the dusty window of the train today. That display of purple and gold was a private gallery I painted just for you, a reminder that my glory is never dimmed by the transit of human struggle. I saw the way you held your breath when the person next to you started coughing, the spike of fear for your health and your family. I am your healer. I am the breath that purifies. Your life is a precious thread in a massive, eternal loom, and I am the weaver who ensures no thread is cut before its time. Tonight, let the worries of tomorrow remain in tomorrow's hands. They are not yours to carry into your sleep. I am the one who keeps watch while the world slumbers. I am the sentinel at your door. Every creak of the house is a reminder that the structure holds, just as my love holds you. You have felt like you were drowning in the shallow end of life's demands, but I am teaching you to float. I am teaching you that the water is not your enemy when I am the one who commands the tides. The danger that stalked you on the highway, the unseen patch of ice, or the momentary mechanical failure that didn't happen, was a testament to my constant vigilance. I do not slumber nor sleep. As you prepare to rest, know that the miracle is not just a change in your circumstances, but a change in your capacity to see me in those circumstances. You are being reawakened to the magic of being alive, of being chosen, of being fiercely and relentlessly loved. The staircase I mentioned earlier. You've already taken 3 more steps today without even realizing it. You are higher than you were this morning. You are closer to the light. Feel the tension leaving your shoulders now, the weight of the commute finally dissolving into the safety of my embrace. I am the silence between your heartbeats, the space where all things are possible. Rest now, for the morning will bring fresh mercies and a new song, and I will be there to sing it with you. I want you to look back at the bend in the road near the old stone bridge, the one where the shadows always seem to stretch a little longer than they should. You didn't notice, did you? You were adjusting the volume on the radio, trying to drown out the persistent hum of your own anxieties about the quarterly reports and the leaking faucet in the guest bathroom. But I was there. I was the inexplicable urge that made you tap the brakes, not a hard stop, just a gentle slowing, a momentary hesitation that felt like a random thought. In that 3-second delay, a heavy timber fell from the truck 2 miles ahead of you, creating a chain reaction of swerving metal and screeching tires that you missed entirely because you arrived at that stretch of asphalt exactly when the path had been cleared. You see it as luck, or perhaps just the rhythm of the evening traffic, but I see it as the deliberate placement of my hand between you and the jagged edges of a world that does not know your name. I know your name. I have it written in the very pulse of the stars. Think of your car, that silver vessel that carries you between your labors and your rest. You worry about the rattle in the dashboard and the miles ticking upward on the odometer, but I see it as a sanctuary. As you sat in the gridlock tonight, watching the sea of red taillights like a river of glowing embers, I was the warmth in your seat and the steady breath in your lungs. You felt a sudden, inexplicable wave of peace wash over you right around the 3rd exit, the one where the smell of the nearby bakery usually wafts through the vents. That wasn't just a shift in the wind. It was my spirit settling upon you, a reminder that even in the literal and metaphorical traffic of your life, you are never stationary in my eyes. You are always moving toward the fulfillment of a promise I made to you before you even took your first breath. I watched you walk from the driveway to the front door, the gravel crunching under your shoes. You were carrying the weight of the grocery bags, but you are also carrying the silent critiques you level against yourself. The things you didn't say in the meeting, the patience you lost with the clerk, the lingering fear that you are somehow behind in a race you never signed up to run. Drop those bags, my child. Not the ones filled with bread and fruit, but the ones filled with the leaden weight of not enough. I have already provided for your enough. Look at the way the light from the hallway spills across the floor as you enter. That golden rectangular glow is a herald of the sanctuary I have built for you. Every corner of this home is a map of my grace. The chipped paint on the doorframe, a mark of a life being lived, of movement, of a history we are writing together. Do you remember the moment your phone buzzed on the passenger seat, and for a split second you reached for it? I was the quiet not now that echoed in your spirit, the small restraint that kept your eyes on the horizon. Had you looked down, you wouldn't have seen the deer poised at the edge of the tree line, its eyes reflecting your headlights. You think you missed nothing, but I saved you from a collision that would have shattered more than just glass. I am in the almosts and the not-quites of your day. I am the guardian of the gaps. I am the shield that stands between you and the what-ifs that never came to pass. When you feel that phantom shiver, that sudden realization of how fragile life is, do not let it turn into a cold fear. Let it be a warm recognition that you are being held. You are being navigated through a labyrinth by the one who built the walls and knows every secret passage. Your hands are still a bit shaky as you set your keys on the counter. I see the slight tremor. It is the residue of the day's adrenaline, the high-speed dance of the highway still humming in your nervous system. Let me settle that for you. Imagine my hands covering yours, large and steady and ancient, absorbing the vibration of the world. I want to talk to you about the people you passed on the road today. The woman in the blue SUV who looked like she'd been crying. The man on the motorcycle weaving through lanes with a reckless heart. You whispered a half-formed prayer for them without even realizing it. That was me, moving through you, using your empathy as a conduit for my light in places you will never personally visit. You are a vessel of my protection not just for yourself, but for the strangers who share your commute. Your presence on that road matters. Your peace acts as a tether for the chaos around you. Tonight, as you move through the ritual of closing the blinds and locking the doors, do not do so out of a sense of vulnerability. Lock them as a symbolic closing of the day's chapter. The world stayed outside because I commanded it so. Your home is not a fortress against me, but a garden where I walk with you in the cool of the evening. I see the stack of mail on the table, the bills, the flyers, the reminders of the material world's demands. They look like giants to you, don't they? But from where I sit, they are like fallen leaves, easily swept away when the season turns. Do not let the ink on a page steal the sleep from your eyes. I am the great provider who fed the multitudes with a few loaves. Do you think I cannot manage the numbers on your screen? Trust the weaver. The thread of your provision is woven into the same fabric as your protection. One does not exist without the other. Lay your head back now. Feel the support of the pillow, the way the bed holds your frame. You have spent all day holding things up, holding up your reputation, holding up your responsibilities, holding up your own weary spirit. Now let me hold you. The silence of the house isn't empty, it is full of my presence. It is a thick, velvet silence that muffles the echoes of the highway. I am tuning your ears to a different frequency now. Listen past the hum of the refrigerator and the ticking of the clock. Can you hear the rhythm of the cosmos? It is a heartbeat and it matches your own. We are in sync. The danger has passed, the stars are in their watch stations, and the road you must travel tomorrow is already being scouted by my angels. You aren't just surviving these days, though I know it feels that way when the commute is long and the coffee is cold. You are being refined. The friction of the world is polishing the diamond I placed within you. Rest in the knowledge that you were kept safe today not by chance, but by a love that refuses to let you go. We have more to see together and more steps to take on that staircase. But for this hour, for this moment, there is only the beautiful, holy necessity of your breath. Breathe with me. Just breathe. As the rhythm of your breathing slows, let me take you back to the gray light of 6 a.m., when the world was still shivering under a blanket of mist. You didn't see me sitting in the passenger seat, though you moved your coffee mug to the floorboard to make room for your leather satchel, the one with the frayed strap you've been meaning to fix. I was there, watching the way you smoothed your hair in the rearview mirror, checking not for vanity, but for a semblance of ready to present to a world that asks too much of you. You pulled out of the driveway, the gravel crunching beneath your tires like the small, rhythmic worries that pop in the back of your mind. You were thinking about the email you didn't send, the way your daughter's voice sounded tight over the phone yesterday, and whether the noise the engine made was a sign of a repair you couldn't afford. You were wrapped in a cocoon of what-ifs. Yet even then, my peace was the atmosphere of that car. Do you remember the interchange at the bridge? The way the traffic usually flows in a predictable, jagged river of steel. Today, the flow was different. There was a car, dark blue, 2 lanes over, whose driver was distracted by a flickering screen on his dashboard. He was about to swerve, a movement that would have triggered a cascade of metal and glass. You didn't see him. You were focused on the brake lights of the sedan in front of you. But I moved. I whispered to a driver 3 cars ahead to slow down just a fraction of a second earlier than necessary. I nudged the wind to gust against your windshield, causing you to grip the wheel tighter and subconsciously center yourself in your lane. I shifted the timing of a green light half a mile ahead to break the density of the pack. You drove through that space unaware that the vacuum I created around you was your sanctuary. You thought it was just a good commute today, a rare moment of clearing. It wasn't luck. It was the weaver shifting the shuttle to ensure the thread of your life remained unbroken. Your life is not a series of accidents held together by hope. It is a masterpiece under construction. I see the blue folder on your desk right now, the one filled with the figures that don't quite add up yet. I see the scuffed heels of your favorite shoes by the door, worn down by the miles you walk for the sake of others. I see the way you swallow your own needs to make room for the demands of your title, your family, your must-dos. But here, in this velvet dark, those titles fall away. You are not a manager or a provider or a problem solver. You are a child, tucked into the safety of an eternal shadow. The road you travel is paved with more than just asphalt. It is paved with my intentions for you. There was an oil slick on the off-ramp, hidden by the shadows of the overpass. You hit it at just the right angle because I had slowed your heart rate, making your movements fluid rather than jerky. You didn't even feel the slip, but I felt the tension of the universe hold its breath for you. Why do I do this? Because you are the treasure I have hidden in the field of this world. Every mile of your commute is a prayer I am answering before you even think to ask it. Think of the staircase again. Each step you've taken today, the literal steps across the parking lot, the metaphorical steps toward a difficult conversation, has been supported by an architecture of grace. You are climbing toward a version of yourself that is already waiting for us at the top. But don't worry about the height tonight. Don't worry about the miles left on the odometer of your life. The same love that shielded you from the swerve of a distracted stranger is the love that is currently mending the microscopic tears in your muscles as you rest. I am in the details. I am in the way the cool air from the vent hits your skin just when you feel a flash of overwhelm. I am in the song that came on the radio, the one that reminded you of your grandmother's kitchen, right when you felt the loneliness start to seep in through the window seals. You are never, ever unaccompanied. Even when you feel most isolated in the glass bubble of your vehicle, surrounded by thousands of other souls in their own glass bubbles. The space between us is zero. We are intertwined. Tomorrow will have its own shadows, its own hidden patches of ice or bursts of unexpected traffic, but those things are merely the backdrop for the miracle of your continued existence. The friction of the world is polishing the diamond I placed within you. Do you remember the moment at the water cooler? The sharp word that was on your tongue, the one that would have ignited a fire of resentment you would be fighting for weeks. I breathed upon your spirit in that second, cooling the embers before they could catch. That was as much a protection as the shield I placed around your car on the interstate. I am guarding your peace as fiercely as I guard your pulse. Your soul is a delicate thing, my love, and the commute isn't just a physical journey, it's a spiritual one. Every red light is an invitation to pause. Every slow-moving lane is a lesson in the rhythm of patience. You see a delay, I see a deliverance. You see a detour, I see a divine appointment. I was there when you reached for that old CD in the glove box, the one with the handwritten label that's fading at the edges. When that certain melody filled the cabin, and for a moment the stress of the quarterly reports vanished, that wasn't a coincidence. I prompted that memory because I knew your heart needed to be anchored in a time when you knew how to laugh without looking over your shoulder. I am weaving your past, your present, and your future into a single, unbreakable cord of grace. As you lie there, feel the way I am untangling the knots of the day. The frustration with the printer that wouldn't work, the slight you felt when your ideas were overlooked. I am smoothing those out, like a master craftsman refining the surface of a precious metal. You were kept safe today not just from the accidents that make the evening news, but from the quiet erosions of the spirit that no one else sees. The road you travel is hard, yes, but it is holy. It is the place where we meet. It is the place where you learn that your strength is not in your own grip on the steering wheel, but in the fact that my hands are over yours. Listen to the house settling. It is the sound of safety. It is the sound of a fortress that I have built around you. There is no shadow here that can withstand my light. There is no worry that can outlast my promise. I am the weaver, and the fabric of this night is being stitched with threads of peace, specifically for you. Close your eyes and see the staircase again. It isn't made of cold stone, but of light. Each step is a day, and today was a step of profound courage, though you felt only the exhaustion of the mundane. You are higher than you were this morning. You are closer to the heart of me. Rest in that elevation. Breathe in the quiet. Breathe out the heavy. We will walk the next miles together, but for now, we will simply be. In this being, there is a profound geography you are only beginning to map. The silence of this room is not an absence, but a presence, a thick and golden atmosphere where your weary thoughts can finally come to rest like autumn leaves on a still pond. Do you remember the moment this afternoon, just as the sun was beginning its slow descent behind the industrial skyline, when the light caught the dust motes on your dashboard? You saw only a mess to be cleaned, a reminder of chores undone, but I saw the choreography of the universe in those tiny specks. I saw you, centered in your seat, your knuckles white against the leather of the steering wheel, your mind already 3 miles ahead at the grocery store, calculating the cost of bread and the weight of your obligations. You did not see the silver SUV 3 cars back, the driver whose eyes had drifted to a glowing screen, whose foot had slipped from the brake in a moment of digital fog. I am the whisper in the peripheral vision. I am the sudden, inexplicable urge that prompted you to adjust your mirror at that exact second, a movement that delayed your acceleration by a heartbeat, just enough time for the danger to pass harmlessly by, a shadow that never touched your skin. You called it luck. You called it a slow light. I call it the shield of my affection. You think your commute is a vacuum of productivity, a hollow transit between 2 lives, But I tell you, every mile is a sanctuary. I am in the hum of the tires against the asphalt. I am in the melody of the song you hummed, the one whose lyrics you couldn't quite remember, yet the tune rose from your spirit like a prayer of incense. I saw the way your heart constricted when the heavy rain began to fall, slicking the roads into mirrors of obsidian. I was the traction beneath your wheels. I was the clarity in your eyes when the glare of the oncoming headlights threatened to blind you. You are never as alone as you feel in that metal box. The highway is a cathedral where I hear the silent confessions of your fatigue. When the man in the red truck cut you off, and you swallowed the sharp word that rose to your lips, choosing instead a breath of weary patience, that was a victory more profound than any earned in a boardroom. That was the unbreakable cord tightening, pulling you closer to the person I designed you to be. You are being refined in the mundane. The hidden dangers I steer you away from are not only the jagged edges of steel and glass, but the subtle poisons of resentment and the creeping cold of despair. There was a moment, near the bridge, where the weight of your responsibilities felt like a physical pressure on your chest, a phantom passenger demanding all your breath. I reached into that space. I expanded your lungs with a sudden, cool breeze from the vent, a reminder that the air you breathe is a gift I renew every second. Your life is not a series of random collisions. It is a deliberate journey through a landscape I have already scouted. Even the detours, the construction zones that made you late and flustered, were my interventions. There was a darkness waiting on the path you intended to take, a convergence of circumstances that would have broken more than your schedule. I redirected you into the slow crawl of traffic so that I could have your attention, so that you would look up and see the way the clouds were bruising into violet and gold, a sunset painted exclusively for an audience of one. You think you are falling behind, but in my economy, the one who waits is often the one who arrives first at the things that matter. Rest now, my child. Feel the weight of your limbs sinking into the mattress, surrendered to the gravity of my love. The house hums with the memory of the day, but I am standing at the threshold of your dreams, making sure nothing enters that does not serve your peace. The staircase of light I showed you is still there, stretching upward through the ceiling, through the roof, into the starlit expanse where time has no name. You are ascending even as you sleep. Every rhythmic breath is a stitch in the tapestry, a soft amen to the day that has passed. I am untying the tension in your shoulders, the knots you carried home from the office like heavy stones in your pockets. Let them go. They are not yours to carry into the morning. Consider the coffee cup you left in the console, the ring of brown liquid drying at the bottom. To you, it is refuse. To me, it is a marker of the hour we spent together in conversation you didn't even know you were having. You were processing the words of your mother, the sharp edge of her critique that lingered in your mind like a splinter. As you drove, I was the gentle hand drawing that splinter out, using the rhythm of the windshield wipers to create a cadence of forgiveness. Let it go, the blades whispered against the glass. Let it go, the rain echoed. By the time you turned into your driveway, the wound was already beginning to close, though you only felt a vague sense of relief. You walked through your front door and shed your coat, unaware that you were also shedding a mantle of protection that had been invisible but impenetrable. The walls of this home are seasoned with the prayers you've whispered in your sleep, and I have reinforced them with the substance of my promises. Look at the shadows dancing on the wall from the street lamp outside. They are not omens. They are the play of light against the structures I have put in place to keep the world at bay. You worry about the what-ifs, the phone calls that might come, the bills that wait in the mailbox, the uncertainty of the season ahead. But I am the I am. I occupy the what-if and transform it into I will. I will provide. I will sustain. I will protect. Think back to the mid-morning when a sudden wave of exhaustion hit you at your desk. You thought it was the lack of sleep, but it was a call to stillness, a moment where I needed you to pause so a specific thought could take root, a thought of a friend you haven't spoken to in years. That impulse was not random. It was a thread I was weaving from your heart to theirs, a bridge of grace being built across a chasm of silence. You are a conduit of my work even when you feel like a broken vessel. The leaks in your life are where the light gets out. Tonight, I am plugging those leaks with the gold of my glory, like the ancient masters who repaired shattered pottery with precious metal, making it stronger and more beautiful for having been broken. Your commute was not just a movement through space. It was a movement through my heart. Every red light was a Sabbath. Every green light was a commissioning. Every orange light was a reminder of the mercy that exists in the transition. You are being held, not just by the bed beneath you, but by the intentional, unyielding grip of the one who measured the oceans in the hollow of his hand. The hidden dangers, the slick spots on the road, the angry hearts in the other cars, the microaggressions of the workplace, have all been filtered through the lattice of my grace. Only that which can grow you was allowed to reach you. Everything else was turned back at the border of my love. Breathe deep now. The air in this room is holy. The darkness is merely the velvet lining of the jewel box where I keep my most precious treasures, and you, my dear one, are the prize. Sleep now, not because the world is safe, but because I am your safety. The weaver is at the loom, and the pattern for tomorrow is already glorious. As the rhythm of your breathing slows to match the pulse of the stars, let me tell you about the silver car 2 lanes over, the one that veered slightly toward your lane while you were distracted by the melody on the radio. You didn't even notice the correction you made, a slight, instinctive tug on the steering wheel. But it wasn't just your reflexes at work. My hand was over yours, a gentle weight that steered you away from a collision that would have changed your life in an instant. You think of your commute as a chore, a necessary evil to be endured between the sanctuary of home and the demands of the office. But to me, it is a sacred procession. I see the way you grip the wheel when the traffic begins to crawl, the way your jaw tightens as the minutes slip away, and I want you to know that in those moments of perceived delay, I am working. I am rearranging the seconds. That stalled engine 3 miles ahead was not a frustration. It was a firewall. It held you back just long enough for the reckless driver at the next intersection to pass through before you arrived. You often ask for signs of my presence, looking for burning bushes or voices from the clouds, yet you miss the miracle of the almost. The accident that didn't happen, the tire that didn't blow, the bridge that held firm. These are the silent hymns of my protection. Consider the woman in the lobby today, the one whose eyes were hard and whose greeting was a cold edge. You felt a sting of rejection, a micro-fracture in your spirit as you headed to the elevator. What you didn't see was the cloak I wrapped around you in that moment. Her bitterness was a storm, but I made you a lighthouse. I didn't allow her darkness to take root in your soil. I filtered her words through the sieve of my truth, leaving only the parts that would temper your patience, while the rest fell harmlessly to the marble floor. Your workplace is not just a site of commerce, it is a training ground for the soul. When you sat at your desk and felt that sudden, inexplicable wave of peace despite the mounting deadlines, that was my breath on your neck. I was expanding the time within your mind, giving you the clarity to see the solution to the problem that had been nagging at you for days. You are never just working. You are weaving. Every email sent with kindness, every quiet breath taken before a difficult meeting, every time you choose integrity over the easy path, these are gold threads being added to the tapestry. And even the mistakes, the moments where you felt you failed or fell short, are not wasted. Remember the coffee you spilled on your notes. You saw it as a clumsy disaster, but that 3-minute detour to clean it up kept you from a conversation in the hallway that would have only sown seeds of gossip and discontent in your heart. I am in the spills. I am in the delays. I am in the missed elevators and the slow-moving trains. As you lie there now, feel the weight of my gaze upon you. It is not a gaze of judgment, but of a gardener watching his most precious bloom. You worry about the hidden dangers, the things you cannot see or control, the shifting economy, the health of your loved ones, the shadows that dance in the corners of your mind. But I see the end from the beginning. I see the trajectory of every shadow and the source of every light. There is no hidden danger to me. Every threat is a known quantity, and every one of them is under my authority. I am the perimeter around your peace. Tonight, I am inviting you to release the what-ifs that you carry like heavy stones in your pockets. Empty them out. Lay them here on the altar of this mattress. I am the God of the quiet hours, the one who watches while the world forgets itself. I am tending to the embers of your dreams, keeping them warm even when you feel the winter of the world pressing in. Do you remember the small child you saw at the bus stop, the one who waved at you for no reason? That was a kiss from me, a reminder that the world is still full of wonder, if only you have the eyes to see it. I use the small to confound the great, and the simple to silence the wise. Your life is a series of these small, sacred encounters. Tomorrow, the road will stretch out before you again, the gray asphalt winding through the landscape of your routine. But look closer. Notice the way the morning light catches the dew on the roadside grass. Notice the way the clouds assemble themselves in a cathedral of gray and gold. You are traveling through a masterpiece, and you are the center of the frame. I have assigned my messengers to walk the perimeter of your car, to stand guard at the corners of your cubicle, and to hover over the threshold of your front door. You are protected with a ferocity you cannot imagine. My love is not a passive sentiment. It is a militant guard. It is the fire that consumes the thorns before they can scratch your skin. So, let your muscles go soft. Let the tension in your shoulders dissolve like salt in the sea. You do not have to hold yourself together anymore. I am holding you. I am the structure of your days and the softness of your nights. The weaver is not tired. The weaver is not distracted. The pattern is unfolding exactly as I intended, and it is more beautiful than the darkness allows you to see right now. Rest in the knowledge that you are governed by grace, led by love, and kept by power. The morning will come with its own mercies, new and fresh, waiting for you like a gift wrapped in the first rays of the sun. But for now, just be, just breathe, just belong to me. There is a specific peace I have reserved for you tonight, a peace that the world cannot give and certainly cannot take away. It is the peace of the deep ocean where the surface storms cannot reach. Even if the commute tomorrow is long, even if the rain turns to sleet, even if the voices of the world grow loud and demanding, remember the silence of this moment. This is your reality. The noise is the illusion. You are anchored in the eternal, even as you navigate the temporal. I am already in your tomorrow, walking the halls before you arrive, preparing the hearts of those you will meet, and clearing the path of any shadow that would seek to overwhelm you. Sleep, my beloved. The story is long, and we have only just begun the chapter of your triumph. When you wake tomorrow, you will reach for your keys and they will not be where you left them. You will feel that sharp prick of frustration, the rising heat in your chest because the clock is ticking and the world demands your punctuality. But in that moment, I want you to remember the rhythm of my heart. I am the one who moved the keys. I am the one who whispered to your memory to falter for just 3 minutes. You see the delay. I see the intersection 3 miles away where a driver, blinded by a screen and a moment of carelessness, would have crossed your path at the exact second of your arrival. Those 3 minutes of searching are my arms wrapped around your car, a celestial shield against a collision you will never even know you avoided. You will grumble as you start the engine, your mind already racing toward the office, toward the emails that pile like autumn leaves, toward the conversation with Sarah that you have been dreading for 3 days. But even as you grip the steering wheel, I am there, softening the leather beneath your palms, steadying the pulse in your wrists. I see the anxiety you carry about the project deadline, the way you replay the numbers in your head as you merge onto the highway. Stop. Look at the way the light hits the mist on the windshield. That shimmer is my signature on the canvas of your day. I have already spoken to the heart of your supervisor. The words that you fear will be harsh have been tempered by my breath. You think you are walking into a lion's den, but I have already tamed the lions. I have prepared a table for you in the presence of your stressors. Do you remember the red coat you saw yesterday, the one that caught your eye in the shop window? I saw the way you sighed, a tiny flicker of longing for beauty amidst the gray concrete of your routine. I care about those sighs. I am not a god who only deals in the grand and the cosmic. I am the god of the shop window, the god of the lost keys, the god of the lukewarm coffee that kept you from being at the wrong place at the right time. Your life is not a series of accidents. It is a choreographed dance of mercy. When the traffic slows and the brake lights glow like a sea of red rubies before you, do not let your spirit fray. Use that stillness to talk to me. Not the formal prayers you think I require, but the raw, honest whispers of your soul. Tell me about the loneliness that creeps in when you're surrounded by people in the elevator. Tell me about the dream you tucked away 5 years ago because it seemed impractical. I haven't forgotten that dream. I am the one who planted the seed, and I am the one who knows how long the winter must last before the first sprout breaks the soil. You are worried that you are falling behind, that your peers are moving faster, achieving more, building taller towers. But you are not running their race. You are walking with me, and my pace is perfect. I do not hurry, and I am never late. Even when the train is delayed or the tire goes flat, there is a mystery of protection at work. Perhaps the person sitting next to you needs the silent prayer you offer without even knowing it. Perhaps the silence of a stalled car is the only way I can get you to hear the song of the bird on the fence. A song I composed specifically to remind you that if I clothe the lilies and feed the sparrows, I will surely provide for the one I call my own. Your commute is not a dead space between your home and your work. It is an altar. It is a sanctuary on wheels, a moving cathedral where we meet in the quiet intervals. I am the silence between your thoughts. I am the breath that sustains you when the air in the office feels thin and stale. You worry about the shadows in the parking garage, the flickering lights that make you quicken your step. I am the light that no darkness can swallow. I am the presence that walks beside you, unseen but more real than the concrete beneath your feet. I have placed a hedge of protection around your coming and your going. I have commanded my angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. You see the mundane. I see the spiritual architecture of your safety. When you feel that sudden nudge to change your route, or that inexplicable feeling that you should wait a moment longer before leaving the building, listen. That is my voice, vibrating in the marrow of your bones. I am saving you from things you have no names for. I am diverting storms that were meant to break over your head. You think your survival is a result of your own vigilance, but it is the fruit of my tireless watch. Sleep now, knowing that the weaver is still at the loom. The threads of your tomorrow are already being spun with threads of gold and sapphire. There is no obstacle I have not already mapped. There is no valley I have not already bridged. You are not a traveler in a foreign land. You are a child in my house, and every room is filled with my love. Let the weight of the day fall away. Let the fears of the morning vanish like mist. I am your shield, your fortress, and your exceedingly great reward. I am the one who stands at the gate of your heart, keeping watch while you dream. You are precious beyond measure, protected beyond understanding, and loved beyond the reach of time. I am the quiet power that moves the stars and the gentle hand that wipes away your tears. Trust the process. Trust the pause. Trust me. Do you remember the morning the frost clung to your windshield like delicate, frozen lace? You were hurried, your mind already racing ahead to the 9 o'clock meeting, your fingers fumbling with your keys in the biting air. You felt a surge of sharp irritation when they slipped from your grasp into the gray slush at your feet. You muttered a breath of frustration, but I was there, bending the fabric of time in that small, messy delay. Had you been 10 seconds faster, you would have reached the intersection of Oak and Broadway just as a heavy freight truck, its brakes failing in the cold, surged through the red light. You saw only a minor inconvenience. I saw a catastrophic collision averted. I saw the trajectory of twisted metal and shattered glass, and I placed my hand upon the ticking clock of your morning. This is the nature of our walk together, though you often walk it with your eyes fixed on the pavement. You see the obstacles. I see the escape routes. You see the closed doors. I see the structural integrity of the walls I built to keep you safe. Even in the gray, rhythmic hum of your daily bus ride, as you lean your forehead against the vibrating window and watch the city blur past in a smear of neon and rain, I am sitting in the seat beside you. I know the faces of every stranger you pass. I know the one whose anger could have flared toward you, but was instead calmed by a sudden, soft thought of home I planted in their mind. I know the one whose path crossed yours only to be redirected by a bird taking flight or a sudden gust of wind. You walk through a world of infinite variables, but I am the constant. I am the architect of what you call coincidence. Think of the times you felt a sudden, inexplicable urge to check your rearview mirror, or the moment you decided, for no reason at all, to take the stairs instead of the elevator. These are not accidents of instinct. They are the whispers of my spirit vibrating in your periphery, guiding your feet away from the hidden snare. I know the weight of the leather bag you carry on your shoulder, and I know the far heavier weight of the secret worries you carry in your chest, the gnawing fear that you are failing at the things that matter most, the anxiety about the bills stacked on the counter, the quiet, persistent ache of loneliness that bites when the house falls still at night. I am in those empty spaces, too. I am the warmth in your first cup of coffee and the hidden strength in your spine when you feel ready to collapse. I am weaving a garment of grace that fits you perfectly, tailored to the specific, jagged contours of your life. Do not mistake my silence for absence. When the traffic stalls and the world seems to conspire against your schedule, breathe into the pause. In that stillness, I am working behind the curtain of the visible. I am rearranging the pieces of a puzzle you haven't even seen yet. I am the barrier between you and the chaos that roars just outside your perception. You are never alone on that subway platform, even when you feel like a ghost in a crowd of thousands. You are never invisible in that fluorescent-lit lobby. I see the light of your soul shimmering amidst the concrete and the steel, a beacon I will never allow to be extinguished. I see the way you try to be kind even when your heart is heavy and your patience is thin, and I honor that struggle. I see the way you look for beauty in the cracks of the sidewalk, and I am the one who put it there for you to find. I know the history of your scars, the ones on your skin and the ones on your spirit, and I am the physician who tends to them while you sleep. Rest in the absolute knowledge that your safety is my priority, not because of your own performance, but because of whose you are. You are the apple of my eye, the treasure hidden in the vast field of the world. As the stars begin to peer through the indigo canopy of the night, Realize that I have already walked through your tomorrow. I have cleared the thorns that would have tripped you. I have leveled the high places that would have exhausted you. You can step out into the dawn with a quiet confidence, for the one who holds the raging oceans in the hollow of his hand is the same one who holds your hand as you cross the busy street. We are not finished yet. You and I, there are depths of my peace you have yet to plunge into, heights of my joy you have yet to scale. Every breath you take is a gift I have wrapped in mercy, and every step you take is a journey we are making together, side by side. Your commute is not a mundane loop. It is a sacred procession. I am guarding the gate of your mind against the whispers of the enemy. I am filtering the noise of the world so that you might hear the melody of my love. When the shadows grow long and the path ahead seems uncertain, look for the glint of gold in the dust. I am there. I have always been there. Let your heart settle into the rhythm of my heartbeat. Let the frantic pulse of the world fade until it is nothing more than a distant hum. You are kept. You are guarded by legions you cannot see. You are my beloved, and no shadow, no matter how deep, can outrun the reach of my light. Stay here with me in this moment of realization. There is more I want to show you about the glory hidden in your ordinary hours. Look at the keys resting on your kitchen counter, those small shards of silver and brass that you grasp with a hurried hand. To you, they are merely tools of the daily grind, the cold weight of another obligation. To me, they are the scepters of a pilgrim. When you stepped out of your door this morning, beneath a sky the color of a bruised plum, you did not see the watcher standing at the threshold of your driveway. You were focused on the smudge on your windshield and the mental checklist of the meetings that awaited you, the deadlines that howl like wolves at the edges of your peace. But I was looking at the intersection 3 miles ahead. I saw the heavy truck, its driver momentarily blinded by the sudden, piercing glare of the rising sun hitting a glass building. I saw the fraction of a second where your paths were destined to entwine in a chaos of twisted metal and shattered glass. Do you remember that sudden, inexplicable urge to check your phone, only to decide against it, and focus instead on the rhythmic click of your turn signal? That was not your own discipline alone. It was my hand on your shoulder, a gentle pressure that kept your eyes fixed on the path I had already secured. You cruised through that intersection seconds after the danger had passed, unaware that the very air behind you was thick with the "what if" that I had already silenced. This is how I love you, in the minute adjustments, in the invisible shields I raise when your mind is 1,000 miles away. You worry about the big storms, the life-altering gales that threaten to uproot your world, but I am the master of the gusts and the pebbles as well. Your commute is a tapestry of my interventions. Think of the red light that felt like a personal insult, the one that caught you just as you were trying to make up for lost time. You tapped your fingers on the steering wheel, frustrated by the delay, watching the seconds tick away on the digital dashboard. You did not see the deer that leaped across the road just over the crest of the next hill, nor did you see the patch of black ice in the shadow of the overpass that the salt trucks had missed. By the time your light turned green, the path was clear. Your frustration was my protection. I trade your punctuality for your safety every single day, and I would do it 1,000 times over because you are more precious to me than any schedule. I want you to feel the weight of this care. It is not a distant, clinical oversight from a throne far removed. It is the fierce intimacy of a father who counts the revolutions of your tires as carefully as I count the hairs on your head. When you sit in the heavy standstill of traffic, and the heat of the world's frantic pace begins to rise in your chest, breathe me in. Listen to the hum of the engine not as a mechanical drone, but as a lullaby I am singing over your journey. There are layers of grace you have yet to peel back, hidden in the mundane rows of taillights and the gray expanse of the highway. Beneath the layers of your stress, your ambition, and your weariness, there is a core of stillness that belongs to us alone. I am teaching you to find it even when the sirens wail and the horns blare in a discordant chorus. I am the silence between the noises. I am the space between your breaths. As you navigate the familiar turns, the cracked pavement of the service road, and the bridge that arches over the river like a stone prayer, know that these are not just coordinates on a map. They are the landmarks of our shared history. I remember the morning 3 years ago when you cried behind your sunglasses on this very stretch of road, feeling invisible and swallowed by the vastness of your own grief. I was there then, catching every tear before it could touch your lap, and I am here now in the quiet strength you have found since. Your life is not a series of accidents held together by the thin thread of luck. It is a choreographed dance of my providence. I am guarding your heart from the cynicism that often rides shotgun in the morning rush, that cold whisper telling you that you are just another cog in a wheel. When the news on the radio tries to sow seeds of fear about the future, I am the one whispering of a kingdom that cannot be shaken, a home that is being prepared for you even as you drive toward your temporary office. When the faces of the people in the vehicles beside you seem like blurred shadows, I am the one opening your eyes to see their hidden beauty, inviting you to offer a silent prayer that bridges the gap between your car and theirs. You are a light bearer in a metal shell, moving through the arteries of the city, and the darkness cannot comprehend the glow you carry. Do not underestimate the power of your presence, for I am within you, radiating outward. The danger I shield you from is not always a physical collision. Sometimes, the greatest threat is the slow, silent erosion of your wonder. The enemy would have you believe that this day is a carbon copy of the last, a gray repetition leading toward a hollow end. But I say to you, look closer at the ordinary. Look at the way the light catches the morning mist on the power lines, turning common wire into strands of pearls. Look at the resilience of the weeds pushing through the concrete, a testament to the life I have planted in you that refuses to be buried. These are my signatures, written in the margins of your commute. I am preserving your capacity to see the beautiful because a soul that can see beauty is a soul that the enemy cannot conquer. I am guarding the sanctuary of your spirit from the dust of the mundane, filtering the toxic fumes of comparison and inadequacy that the world tries to pump into your lungs. Stay in this awareness. Feel the seat beneath you as my supporting hand, holding you steady as you navigate the curves. Feel the air from the vents as my breath cooling your brow when the pressure of the day begins to mount. We are entering a deeper wood now, a place where the signs of my presence will become even more unmistakable, even more tangible. I have so much more to tell you about the shield that surrounds you, the one you wear like a garment of light, invisible to the world but blinding to the shadows that would dare to cross your path. You are not just driving, you are being carried. Lean into that. Let the steering wheel be a place of surrender, not a grip of control. There is a specific glory I have hidden in the next 10 minutes of your drive, a secret I have kept just for you, waiting for the moment your heart is quiet enough to receive it.